are vicious stereotypes, and then there are just accurate stereotypes. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also offer daily shots. Steelers and Pirates in the same place that you found this. Penguins 5, Flyers 4 in overtime last night. Big 3-goal comeback. Yevgeny Malkin scores not only the overtime goal, but the tying goal and sets up two others in regulation. 4-point night for Gino. Erik Karlsson scored twice. Phil Tomasino with a beauty on a short-range breakaway. And yet none of that was the story. The story was the goaltending, as always. Only not quite like this. Alex Nedeljkovic gave up 3 goals for the Flyers to take a 3-0 lead. Not one of them was remotely his fault. I mean, you could break these down into oblivion and not find that he did anything wrong. 2 of them went in off his own guy's skates, and the third happened on just an unpardonable breakdown in front of him. And then he got yanked. And then as soon as he saw that he got yanked, meaning Joel Blomqvist starts moving at the far end of the home bench, he lost it. He lost it. Just plain old lost it. Turned around, whacked his stick off the crossbar, flung it against the glass to his left, skated very purposefully toward that bench, opened, went into that door, and slammed it. I mean, if you know how hockey bench doors slam anyway, this was a slam from the heart and soul, at which point he sees getting everybody's attention by yelling something in the direction of the bench. The radio broadcast crew of the team got information that what was yelled out was, "Wake up." And what do you know? They did. Ned showed up to play. Ned usually shows up to play. Ned wanted in the worst way for this to be not just the Penguins' bounce-back game, but his own bounce-back game. He was taking this hard. I got to tell you, I've gotten to know the young man in his time in Pittsburgh. And part of that, just to be completely candid here with you, is his own Serbian background. His grandparents came over. He's born and raised in the Cleveland area, which very much like our city celebrates its ethnic heritages in ways that other cities really can't comprehend. And I'm also going to tell you that these things are related. No, not every stereotype fits all 100% of people placed into that class. There actually are people in France who aren't all that into fine dining and wine. But a lot of them are. And if you aren't aware of Serbs' reputation for being hot-headed is one way to put it. Passionate is another. Our people tend to ignite most of the world wars is yet another, if you happen to know your history books. So what happened here was that this mild-mannered, amiable, unfailingly cordial individual, well, as is said in actual Serbia, his wires broke and he lost it. And I got to tell you, I'm not here to pat him on the back for that. I'm not here to suggest that if the game had gone on, he wouldn't have proceeded to give up some more bad goals and continue his really tough run of late. If there's goaltending credit to be given on this night, it should go, I think, to Blomqvist. And if there's credit to be assigned to anybody for the tirade itself, it should be to the rest of the players for how they legitimately responded, as opposed to getting mad or who does this guy think he is? He's been leaking all these goals in and he's flipping out and how dare he yell at us when we had his back, blah, blah, blah. Nothing of the kind. Nothing of the kind. During the game and then afterward, all that was spoken about this was that he motivated us. He got us going. We won this for Ned. On the first of Karlsson's goals, Ricard Raquel skated from just to the side of the Philadelphia net, straight line to Ned at the bench to give him a high five. And then there's the head coach. To all the world, in live action, that looked like Ned freaking on Mike Sullivan. How could it look like anything else? The decision to change goaltenders was Sullivan's. Ned had no reaction until he saw Blomqvist coming onto the ice. And then, when Ned slams the door and looks to his side toward the bench, it couldn't be clear if he was looking at the players or he was looking at the guys behind the bench. Listen to Sullivan after the game on this subject.
The decision to pull Ned wasn't so much performance-based as it was to try to change some momentum in the game. I have no problem with Ned's reaction. For me, that's just an indication of how invested he is. He cares. He cares. He's competitive. He wants to win. That's raw emotion, and I have no problem with that. Quite honestly, I thought he inspired the group to want to compete for him. So, for me, that I thought our team responded, and I think Ned was a big part of it.
That's pretty cool. Look, I'm not going to make more of this one game or these 2 points. I'm not going to do that the rest of the way. Penguins are 9 points out of a wild card spot. This season's toast as far as that sort of thing is concerned. In isolation, there was a lot here. There was a lot to unpack. And in isolation, on this one night, the home team passed all of that with flying colors. When we come back, J1Q. This episode is brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your summer sports needs this season, from Major League Baseball, golf, NHL, NBA playoffs. Get the latest odds and lines, including all team matchups, player props, odds on just about everything that's out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. Welcome back. You should know that my wires break all the time, too. In fact, I don't know of many of Serb descent who have wires that are, really, really sturdy stuff. Today's J1Q comes from Kate, who says, so 7 points for Gino since he's come back from the break. Is there anyone anywhere claiming that he's just out there for some sort of free skate? There were those criticisms, certainly going into the break, although he'd been hurt for a while, even before that. There are times where Gino's playing through some stuff or, just getting into one of those Gino funks. Those are more and more sparse, I find, as he gets older. I think because he's going to understand that there's going to be less understanding on anyone else's part for that sort of thing. But, Kate, it's not just the points, and you've seen it. It's not just the goals and the assists that he's put up. The first shift he took coming out of the break, he was just zipping all over the rink. He has been old school Gino dominant at times in terms of his presence, in terms of his ability to control play. And as impressive as both of his goals were in this game, in very different ways, by the way. The first one, the Flyers gave him a ton of room. Obviously, he shoots from the top of the left circle, but he nailed his spot. I mean, Sam Ersson had no chance of stopping that thing unless he was going to be perfectly aligned beforehand, and he wasn't. And then in OT, he freezes the rink. He skates down there, comes to a hard stop, and then makes an additional little adjustment on his skates to his right. And here, too, Ersson's not sure exactly what to do. He knows Chris Letang's on his weak side. He probably is aware that the Flyers' very talented young forward, Matvei Michkov, is the guy that's defending all of this, which is not a good thing for Philadelphia. He freezes. The whole rink freezes. Gino doesn't. Gino shoots and scores. There aren't too many new ways to say that Gino's great, okay? But Gino's great, and he still can be great at times, especially when he's had that rest. And I think if there's a subject that we could take beyond this subject, Kate, to carry this out into maybe an off-season conversation that we can have, it would be whether or not across hockey, never mind Gino, never mind Pittsburgh, across hockey, you could see teams start resting players, not having them go back-to-back the way the Penguins are going to be doing this weekend, keeping them fresher, keeping them healthier, and maybe even over the course of, if it's 82 games for the team, let's say it's, 70 for a given player, they could actually be more productive, not per game, overall, more productive for your team. And instead of using them, say, against the Sharks or the Predators or whoever, you save them, you use them in the divisional games, in the in-conference games against teams that are right there with you for the wild card. I don't know. I'm not going to take that too far. I think it's something worth thinking about. I don't think it's ever going to happen, not with the hockey mentality being what it is. I appreciate the question, Kate. I appreciate everybody checking out Daily Shot of Penguins. Again, they do have back-to-back games this weekend, both of them at home, both of them matinees. Bruins first, then Maple Leafs on Sunday. I'll be there for DK Pittsburgh Sports, and then we will be back with another one of these first thing Monday.